Good morning, Year 2. Our fact of the day for today is 2 times 9 equals 18. So we've got the picture there of 2 sets of 9, and on the other side is a picture of 9 sets of 2 equals 18. So if we're going to do the inverse of that, we put the 18 first, and then you can divide it into 9s, or you can put the 18 first and you can divide it into 2s. Now remember, you can say that two ways. You can say 18 divided into 2s, or 18 divided into 2 bits. It doesn't matter, because the answer to that one will still be 9. And the same up here, it's 18 divided into 9s, or 18 divided into 9 bits, but the answer is still 2. So it doesn't really matter how you say it or even how you think about it. If it's easier for you to think of 18 chopped in 2, then think of it that way. Is it easier to think of how many 2s are in 18 and count them in 2s? Then think of it that way. It's whichever is easiest for you to work out. Now, if we're going to start making it bigger, what we normally do is put the 0 on the bigger number. So we've got 2 90s. So that would be a 90, add another 90. Remember to just add a 0 rule. It would be 180. So you've still got your 2, your 9 and your 18. You've just made it 10 times bigger. And then we can swap the numbers around again. So if you had time to count in 2s 90 times, you would get up to 180. And if you had 9 sets of 20 or 9 20p's, you'd have 180. If you had 29s, you'd also have 180. And don't forget, you can now do the inverse of those. Divide 180 in 2 and you'd get 90. Divide 180 into 20s and you'd get 9. Divide 180 into 9s and you'd get 20. And divide 180 into 90s and you'd get 2. So if you look at those facts, you've always got the 18, the 2 and the 9. But remember, once you start making it bigger, once you start adding zeros, you've got to make sure that it still makes sense, that you still remember what you're doing, that you're dividing 180 into 2 and there are 2 90s. And you can check them by turning them into times. So 90, let's do this one here, 90 times, if that was times 2, it would equal 180. So that's called doing the inverse to check they're correct. These ones over this side, the mega facts, are a bit easier because you can use the 0 rule. So you've got a 0 there and a 0 there, 1 0 there, 1 0 there, 1 0 there, 1 0 there. So they're a bit easier, which is why we do those first. Now we do one little challenge down the bottom, then let's have 2 900s. What do you think 900 and 900 would be? Yesterday we found out that an array is an arrangement that can show a multiplication number sentence. And so maybe you've had a chance to look around your own house and see if you could find any arrays that are just already there. Now today we're actually going to try and make some arrays. Now because I'm sort of in the same situation as you now, I'm at home, and so I've got to try and use the things I can find in my house to make an array. So I've started off by making a funny little video with some of my daughter's toys. So have a look at this and see if you can work out what the array is. That did take a very long time to do. So our TRP for today is, can I make and describe an array? So your challenge is to find some objects and make an arrangement of them and then describe it using 2 times number sentences and 2 division number sentences. So you can take a photograph of the array that you make, or you could draw it in your book or draw it on a piece of paper. You could use your toys, and you can send me the pictures, or you can just draw them in your maths book and see how many different arrays you can make. When you're making your arrays, I want you to think about some of these questions. So first of all, what shape are the arrays when you finish making them? Will they always be this shape? So is an array always the same shape? Will the same number of objects always make the same array, or can you arrange them in different ways to make different arrays? Could you make an array with 11 cubes? Can you make an array with an odd number? Because the ones we've looked at so far have been even numbers, so could you try and make an array with an odd number? And how many number sentences will there be for each array? Will there always be 2 times and 2 divides, or will it sometimes be different? So to start with, I've got 6 oranges, or maybe they're satsumas here. So we've got a row with 3, and we've got 2 rows. So we could write 2 times 3 equals 6. Or we've got 2's, we've got 3 2's, so we could write 3 times 2 equals 6. If we're going to divide them, remember we put the biggest number first, so we've got 6 altogether. If we divide 6 into 2's, we've got 1, 2, 3, 2. So 6 divided into 2's equals 3 2's. If we divide it the other way, if we divide it into 3's, 6 divided into 3's, we've got 2 3's. Now I'm not even sure what these are, but let's count how many of them we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the big number is going to be 9, and we've got 3, just line them up a bit better down there, and we've got 3 along there. So it's going to be 3 sets of 3, 3 times 3, and that's called a square number because it makes a square. So if we want to make another square number, let's take some away. Now we've got 2 times 2 equals 4. So when an array makes a square, it's called a square number. And if we divide that square number, let's put a 9 to the big number, and it's being divided into 3's, whichever way you go, and there are 3 of them. So you can divide them that way into 3 3's. It does look like noughts and crosses now. Divide them that way into 3 3's. One thing I'd like you to do when you're making your arrays is try and find a set of 12 similar things and then see how many different arrays you can make with that 12. So I found these shiny pebbles. I'm not sure what these were ever for. Now I'm going to put them in rows of 3 to start with. So there's my array, and I'm just going to write one number sentence because hopefully by now you can work out the others. So we're looking at how many are in a row. So there's 3 in a row, so it's going to be times 3. And how many rows have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be 4 times 3 equals, remember the big number was 12. Now let's see if I can make a different array by moving them around. Clean this up a bit. We'll keep the big number because it's still going to be 12. So this time, how many are in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. And there are 2 rows. Now remember, there are 3 other number sentences you can make about that. Now the last one might be one you haven't realised you can do. I'm not sure if it's going to fit, just all squash up a bit. So how could you describe that array? It's still an array and it's still 12, but this time the 12 are all in a row and there is one row. So 1 times 12, one set of 12 equals 12. I look forward to seeing which arrays you come up with. Remember, after you've done 12, you can choose any number you like. It can be however big you like or however small you like. What would the smallest array be? So good luck with that.